Hello, welcome back to another video for Axie Infinity Season 1 Meta-Analysis and Team Highlight. So today is day 6, which means tomorrow is going to be an interesting day where tomorrow we do get to see that the marketplace will be full of runes and charms that people can buy. So this is kind of the last day where people are using runes and charms that they can only craft themselves. So definitely tomorrow will be an interesting change, but for now let's see what is going on in day 6. And very interesting that we do have some new names, and probably because they just got to some good runes and charms, but interestingly the top meta is actually sustain build with arcane protection, so this might actually be the new meta for this season, well, at least until the balance changes. And of course, actually, once people do get to buy their runes and charms and build their own team the way that it synergizes the best, maybe the meta will shake up a bit. But let me just see what else is happening. Sushi 1 is still there. And yeah, I would say you do see quite a lot of arcane protection, dawn, poison. So Rise A is still here. And then yep, it's, I would say, pretty similar in terms of the aggro is mostly Pendulum Scale. That's because it's the most accessible runes in terms of the power level. And you do see a number of all beast team, and actually that is something that I would want to highlight for today. Let me just scroll down and see what else is there. Nothing that I guess stands out. Mostly is the sustain, the aggro with Pendulum Scale, and I think something that I have not featured is really the all beasts. So let me just see. Okay, right, this is definitely a new name for me. Probably that they've been playing for a while, I just don't know. But MAGTHEWHITECAT. Let's look at the team because it is quite interesting. They just got to Challenger, it looks like, and using a 3 beast team, and let's see what they have. And okay, so Pendulum Scale at the front. Pure Instinct, I assume, is because this is like the best rune that they have at this point, and then Reckless Hunter. Okay, so let's just jump right into the Axie and see what they look like. Okay, so this is going to be a Rage team. So it's a Rage Fury kind of team. Which dominated the meta last season actually, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they do this season. But I would say this is the kind of team that is more like a combo team where you do need a very specific runes and charms and cards, and you do deal a lot of burst damage, so you really set up for your Rage and Fury turn, and then you basically burst through your opponent, sometimes taking 2 KOs from full health, that kind of thing. So let's just see how this goes. Okay, Little Piece for a start, which I feel that most of these are probably Little Piece, right? All of these Axies go with Little Pieces because it's just so strong. Put in Vulnerable, and the opponent allows you to burst through them. And Nutcracker, not too exciting. I think that one is probably just a filler. Confident is another key one, so Little Piece, Confident, those are the 2 key cards, and the last one will definitely be Shiba. Let's actually see which one is the back, because actually this one looks like the front to me, with the Pendulum Scale. And let's see, so Shiba, very strong. Okay, let me just explain how this works first. So for Fury, what happens is that, okay, let's say Confident, it grants an ally 2 rage stack, and each rage stack allows you to do additional damage. Okay, and it basically stacks up until it gets to 10 stacks, and once you get to 10 rage stacks, you get into Fury mode, and that is the mode where you do the most damage. Where Fury mode, you gain 1 energy once you enter Fury mode, and then you deal 75% more damage during that turn, and that is basically pretty much double, used to be double actually, your attack, but 75 is still very strong, especially when opponent has vulnerable. And giving 1 energy as well, and I feel like this card is particularly strong because of cleanse, right? Part of the reason is I do play a lot of the disarm and sleep, that kind of disruption, but then the cleanse really just kills that, right? You clear your disarm or your whatever debuff, your weak or whatever, right, or your sleep, so waking your Axie up, and then you get into free remote, and then you hit your opponent very hard. Okay, so I can say Risky Beast is still a bit more damage, so that's just to get through some opponents. The key cards is actually Shiba. Shiba gives your team 4 rage, like all Axie 4 rage stacks, right? If this Axie is below 75 health, which is pretty easy to get because it is at the front, and also Little Branch as well, just to get a bit more rage. But I think Shiba is really the main one. I don't think, because this one is a tank, it probably won't get into 10 rage stat. If it does, good, but probably it doesn't. Okay, let's see the next one. This is the mid, I believe, and the mid, you can see it has Little Piece. This is the kind of mid where you get extra energy with the Innocent Lamb, the Current Tail, doing a vulnerable as well. You have the Ronan very strong with extra energy, both in Fury form, but also you can save one of these Cotton Tails, which the Innocent Lamb can convert the Cotton Tail, right, during your Fury mode, and that deals even more damage. So this is a kind of build where you do want to keep your cards such that you do a burst damage as much as possible during your Fury turn. And Kotaro really just to do a bit of AoE and also just get some free value if you are lucky. And of course this is also very strong if this gets into Fury mode, which it can because of Shiba. If Shiba goes off, then it could be quite possible that this will get into Fury mode as well. And let's see the last one. Of course, costing 0 energy means you can just do more damage. Let's see this one. So this one, again, vulnerable with a Little Piece. Again, Ronan as well, and confident. Go to the rage as well, and interestingly get the Shiba. Let me just see. This one, is this the, which one is the back? So this one is actually the one at the back, right, with the Shiba as well. Interesting that this one has the Shiba. Probably because maybe like once you get to a one-on-one situation, this can get itself into rage and then deal even more damage with like a Little Branch. But this also allows you to get into rage as well. And yeah, it's really just a lot of rage, get into rage as soon as possible, and then get the Ronan at the end to finish your opponent off. We have very, very strong teams, and let's see how it actually goes in terms of gameplay. I must say I do want to give it a go, but I just don't know how to play it, and you do need very specific runes and charms. Something I forgot to mention is the runes and charms actually. So Pendulum Scales is the tank. This one allows you to deal 20% extra damage, and this one I think is 15% in terms of the attack cards, and actually all cards, but this only have attack cards. The heal probably doesn't matter, there is a bit of a heal, but that's not the main point. Okay, in terms of charms, it's actually quite standard. They do not have any of the charms that are related to Fury mode, but you will get those later on. Okay, let's just see how this goes. Okay, let me see the team and runes and charms. I feel like it's mostly very standard rune and charms. This is attack boost, I would assume, for the back, right? And you can see Reckless Hunter deals 20 more damage. Yeah, taking more damage at the end, but ultimately you just want to deal as much damage as possible. Let me see this one. Pure Instinct. They'll deal 15%, basically more damage or shield or all cards basically. Again, similar runes and charms, that doesn't really do too much. Okay, similarly, but this one do have a lot of HP, so there is a bit of an HP buff to be a bit more tanky and but confident. Shiba, Little Piece, those are the key cards. So let's see up at the opponent. Very, very well, basically pretty much maxed out the HP. Very lucky, I would say, by this point getting pretty much maxed out HP with the runes. Yep, with an extra energy here, Golda could be interesting. And then yeah, another extra energy here, a bit of card draw, very strong for the opponent. And also, yep, similarly, card draw, extra energy. Okay, so typical aggro team. See how this one goes. Okay, so well, very first turn, already using an extra energy, so very good for the opponent. Oh, unfortunately drawing the card that they don't want to draw, so that is a bit of a misplay, I would say. You at that point actually don't want to draw a card, just because you do get in a scenario like this. Okay, so MAGTHEWHITECAT also getting a pretty good start with an extra energy use as well. Note that the front is already below 75, so hopefully, well, if they get into the Shiba, then that would allow them to get into Fury, or not Fury mode, but allow them to gain 4 stacks of Rage. Okay, the opponent, yeah, unfortunately not the best of draws, drawing the free energy. Yeah, at turn 3, this is always the tough part about going first. So okay, right, so getting the Rage, and then Shiba, you can see how strong it is, right? Getting 446 already. While dealing damage, that's the main thing, right? Is dealing damage but also gaining Rage stat, right? So it's really hitting the opponent and also going towards your main win condition. Our opponent do have a pretty good draw, managed to get through the front, and you can see MAGTHEWHITECAT in terms of Axie count is a bit behind. So let's see how they can come back. Okay, so getting more Rage. This is the turn where they get into free mode. Trying to see if they gain on energy. They don't, which is very unfortunate. And yep, but doing the Ronin, which deals quite a bit of damage. So I would say it's actually not as much as I was hoping, but still not bad damage, and allow them to basically come back to a similar damage roll. And yeah, unfortunately for the opponent, couldn't KO them, so has to use another attack. So now pretty close, I would say, but I think MAGTHEWHITECAT has a bit of an advantage at this point. Very lucky to have that AoE to deal a bit more damage at the back while KOing the front. And yeah, so now the opponent unfortunately probably can't take down the remaining Axie from full health, even though they do have Reckless Hunter, which takes a bit more damage. So this is GG's. So you can see how Fury mode do allow you to come back just because of the extra energy you get plus the extra damage you can deal. Yeah, so that allows them to turn the game around and win this particular game. Okay, so let's come and look at another game where let's see how you can actually beat this kind of team. Of course, this kind of team is not the most consistent in the sense that you do have to set it up. So maybe, yeah, let's see if this can work. Let's see how you can beat this kind of team. Okay, so let's see. I assume this should be similar. Nothing has changed at this point. I think the main point is to see what the opponent, which have 2 free energy here. Ronin pretty strong. Another free energy. 2 cost card, always good as well with those free energies. And yeah, very strong all across the board. I would say pretty standard aggro team. And let's see how this goes. Using the free energy first turn, and then probably just going to gain Rage. So 3 Rage already, and dealing damage, right? You can see, right? It's not just gaining Rage, right? It's dealing damage, and gaining Rage is kind of like a bonus. Okay, opponents do the their OP stuff as well, actually gaining the feather to do a bit more damage. Okay. Opt not to go for a Shiba just because they're not in the range to get the Shiba value, so they actually decide to not play the Shiba. So I think this is that's a bit unfortunate for them, and that is one of the ways in which you can, I want to counter, right? It's just the draw in such a way that they don't actually get the Shiba. If actually MAGTHEWHITECAT got the Shiba value, maybe the game will be very different. So maybe one of the ways you can play around is to play AoE in the beginning, just so that they keep them higher than 75%. Okay, vulnerable. Yep, really just trying to do as much damage as possible and do manage to KO the back. So actually in a bit of an advantage, I would say, Matt the White Cat at this point. An opponent has a very good draw, probably, yep, managed to KO the front. Using the free energy, probably just to do the shrubby. Yep, okay. So pretty even still, I feel. The rage is actually coming pretty soon. Yep. Let's see if the Kataro gets the value. Yes, gets the value. Probably it's gonna save the innocent, save the Corintell, and then do the Ronin. Oh, interestingly, opt to use it instead of saving it, which I'm not too sure if that's the right play. But I guess the damage still won't be able to KO, so it probably doesn't matter. And maybe they want to take another few more attacks. Okay, the fortunate for the opponent, they do get another free energy and manage to KO the mid. Okay, so now I think if MAGTHEWHITECAT cannot get into Fury mode, then it's pretty tough to get through all these. And unfortunately, oh, they do get this. But unfortunate is that they actually don't have any of the beast card that they can use, and the Fury mode is sort of wasted. So so you can see how sometimes if you don't get into Fury mode, and once you get into Fury mode you don't have the cards to play anymore, then it can be a bit rough. So that is one of the ways in which you can beat this kind of team, is just to maybe not get them to 75%, below 75% health first. And but of course it all goes down to card draws and so on. It is a card game, so sometimes it just comes, the cards just comes at the right time, then you just can't get into Fury mode. But okay, so this is it for this episode. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed my video, do consider giving me a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, and use my Lenosian code Morris. Thanks again and have a good one.